Hello, this is Norman Agatep of the Public Relations Society of the Philippines and of Grupo Agatep, a local corporate communication agency based here in Manila. It is my pleasure to be with you here today to share my thoughts on how digital media has transformed society through this presentation titled Altered States: How Social Media Has Changed Us. I begin this presentation by sharing with you a definition of PR by the Public Relations Society of America, and it goes this way. PR is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. However, I share another definition that intrigues me, this one by Leonard Safir, that goes, PR is the aggressive engineering of perception. For us who have used digital technology in PR, that second definition is quite relevant. Our use of social media in aggressively shaping perception has certainly created new consumer attitudes and behaviors. To be specific, our work in PR has created a proactive consumer, an ethical consumer, and a skeptical consumer. Now let's define each. When we talk about the proactive consumer, it's important to trace the evolution of technology impacting public relations. In the agricultural age, this is when everyone in society created everything that they needed, from the food that they ate to the clothes that they wore. People would grow their own grain to create bread, and people would weave their own clothes. Therefore, they would design everything they consumed the way they wanted it. But power shifted when we went to the industrial age. This is when everything was mass-produced and members of society had less control over what they ate or what they wore. Bakers produced all the bread. Factories produced all the clothing. And therefore, these institutions, these factories and bakeries, produced the food and the clothes the way they wanted these things to be produced, and they now held all that power. However, through the information age, specifically through the internet, that power has shifted back to members of society once again. And now consumers have the ability to dictate how bakers ought to be baking bread or how factories ought to be manufacturing clothes. They are no longer the passive consumer. They are more proactive. Digital technology and social media have given rise to the proactive consumer. Today, armed with the information that they scour through the internet, consumers have become a very sophisticated set. They like everything that's new. They listen to the latest music, unbox the latest gadgets, check out the latest movies, restaurants, fashion, all of these brands. And because they are now more able to compare one brand versus the other, they have become very demanding, choosing only those brands that they know can satisfy their specific urges. And once they have created an opinion on the various brands that they've checked out, they are eager to share their thoughts to the entire world through social media. They have the power, therefore, to say if they like a brand or not, if this brand is worth your while or not. Friends and relatives who trust these consumers are also very eager to hear via social media what these consumers have to say about the various brands out there. As such, proactive consumers have now the power to make or break you. They are co-creators of your brand, influencing others to support you or not. Thus, it is easy to see that social media has put back the public in public relations, the public who now have the power to shape your brand. A while ago, we said that PR is the aggressive engineering of perception, and we PR practitioners are actively trying to shape positive perception. Today, because of social media, that positive perception is much about brand love. Today, we try to create or weave narratives that demonstrate that we are the brand to love by consumers. We are the brand that offers the most value, or the brand that satisfies our consumers' urges, or the brand that consumers are eager to share with others. Let us now talk about the ethical consumer. And that discussion brings us to the three ages in corporate communication: the age of image, the age of advantage, and the age of damage. In the age of image, businesses rode on growing interest in what companies stood for to create communication strategies. But these were mostly designed to establish or alter the company's image in the consumer's mind. So greenwashing and nicewashing were coined to describe cynical attempts to mislead the public about their environmental performance and ethical commitments. Meanwhile, in the age of advantage, as consumers grew more vocal and more empowered digitally, some companies realized that they could gain advantage from really delivering on the promises of the age of image. In a global study, for instance, of business leaders, some 73% believed in the edge that corporate social responsibility projects gave them, and 79% accepted these projects as part of business cost. Lastly, today we are in the age of damage. Businesses that are not socially responsible today will suffer damage as a result of this failure. Consumers know more about companies and therefore expect more from them. Through social media, they are able to see what companies are all about, what their backstories are. They will now act against those that do not come up to their standards. Thus, we see that social media has given rise to the ethical consumer. Today, because of social media, ethical consumers do not leave their consciences at the door of the store. They are no longer satisfied by the mere taste of a burger, for example. They want to know who is behind the name on that product. They want to know if the company is making unsavory investments, what political platforms it supports, the stances it takes on their issues. Thus, while we said before that as PR practitioners, it is our job to shape positive perception by building stories about brand love, we realize today that that is not enough. Apart from brand love, we need to weave stories that talk about brand authenticity, because brand authenticity is relevant to the ethical consumer. Finally, we shift our discussion to the skeptical consumer. At the start of this presentation, we showed the evolution of technology impacting PR by discussing the agricultural, industrial, and information age. But today, it is also important to discuss the emerging post-digital age. The post-digital age offers a new turning point for us PR practitioners. Where everyone says that they are going digital, we will need a new set of rules to be successful. Digital will still be important, but now it is simply the price of admission for doing business. It is no longer a point of differentiation or advantage, because by then everyone would have transformed digitally. In the post-digital world, differentiation will come from applying digital in powerful new ways. Let's look at a few examples. Virgin is a brand that has used digital technology in creative new ways to customize experiences of consumers today. The Virgin experience begins with an extensive online survey that prospective guests have to take. Questions in that survey include what is your favorite snack or your favorite cocktail drink, the temperature that you prefer in your room, or your preferred music and movies to enjoy. That experience then extends to a mobile app that you can download, And through your phone, therefore, you can adjust the temperature in your room or choose a specific music and movies from a pre-selected set of choices. Coincidentally, the refrigerator in your room is already stocked with your favorite chocolates. And when you head down to the lobby and into the bar of the hotel at 6 p.m., your favorite cocktail awaits. Another brand in the post-digital era is ZoZoTown, which is an e-commerce site in Japan. Digital technology customizes clothes for purchase over ZoZoTown's e-commerce site. The secret is in ZoZoTown's special mobile app and a Zozo suit with white spots that is delivered to you. All you have to do is position the mobile phone in front of you, wear the Zozo suit, and the mobile app will accurately measure the pertinent measurements to customize clothes for you. Then you visit the e-commerce site, choose the specific clothes you want to purchase and the color, and the app uses your information to manufacture the clothes in your specific size, and the clothes are delivered to you in the right fit. As we see via the two examples, in the post-digital era, each person will now have their own reality, and every moment will be an opportunity for brands to play a role in it. Brands will now be customizing experiences and products for specific audiences, and that's because customers or consumers through digital technology will surrender information to these brands. You might therefore see that as curators of reality, companies and brands will now have a new level of obligation to society because of the information that they need to secure from consumers who want to participate in your brand experience. As a result, the post-digital era will give rise to many skeptical consumers who might not feel comfortable in sharing that information with you. How might this impact the practice of PR, therefore? Again, we said that PR is the aggressive engineering of perception. And positive perception, as we had seen in the proactive consumer and the ethical consumer, means creating stories about brand love and brand authenticity. But in the advent of the post-digital age, once again, this is no longer enough. We must now also build a story on brand trust, because this is what the skeptical consumer prefers. Therefore, as PR professionals today and communicating with consumers exposed to digital technology and social media, it is our responsibility to build stories that talk about brand love, brand authenticity, and brand trust, as these are the ingredients that satisfy the cravings of the proactive consumer, the ethical consumer, and the skeptical consumer. In conclusion, we've stated that PR professionals have used digital technology and social media to aggressively engineer perception. We use digital technology to create positive stories that influence the consumers to whom we communicate. However, our practice has also created a new set of consumer attitudes and behaviors. Our practice has shaped the proactive consumer, the ethical consumer, and the skeptical consumer. And these new types of consumers have in turn shaped the way we do business today, the way we communicate to them, the way we practice our profession. Therefore, it is a full circle where businesses influence consumers and consumers influence businesses because of digital communication and social media. Such is our ongoing evolution as we continue to practice PR We shall continuously be changed because our audiences are continually changing too. And so therefore, to be effective always, we need to, as we go about our business, check the world around us, check out our consumers, see how things are changing, and adjust accordingly to be effective communicators amidst change. Thank you once again for joining me. Have a good day.